All right, Shalom Israel. All right, Shalom brothers and sisters on the social media site, YouTube. We also are on Zoom. Shalom to brothers and sisters out there that check us out online. Shalom to the brothers and sisters in class. The water for taking out your time to hopefully get some edification on a variety of subjects that we like to go over. And hopefully we're taking these concepts and building on, adding on to our lives and making this practical knowledge that you could be, you could use and you could apply to your everyday lifestyle. That's the goal. That's the hope. Is that you take these principles home and these rudimentary scriptures and verses and apply it to your everyday life so you can see the wisdom of it. So that's the number one goal that we want is to build people up. So shalom to all the brothers and sisters out there, ISBHPK Houston, ISBHPK Virginia, ISBHPK New York, and Miami, Guatemala, Kawakab, shalom down in Guatemala, Amiathia in London, shalom. All the brothers out there in California, Albuquerque, shalom to all the brothers out there and sisters out there. All right, we need the unity of both genders in order to create a nation. You know what I'm saying? So we need everybody to be on board and on the same page. And that's kind of why we're going into this topic, because it's a fragile topic, but it's a necessary topic because everybody has to, at some point, understand the value of what it takes to maintain a relationship, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. So the title of the class is called Save the Sinking Relationship. It's a play on words, but we understand what it is. Because these relationships, let me cut the AC on real quick. These relationships sometimes they're selling in good waters, where the waters are calm, skies are blue, and we know that only lasts for so long. And then sometimes these relationships are actually selling in rough water, and high tide, violent waters, tempestuous waters, and the boat is rocking. The ship is swaying side to side. So we kind of know when, and we see, we can tell when things are starting to get rocky. And so you have to know what to do. You have to know what to look out for. You have to know how to be prepared when these things happen. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's get the Josephus in Josephus book 1, chapter 1. I believe it's paragraph 4. Let me go ahead and open it up real quick.
Page 30.
All right. Let me get it. All right, let's go ahead and get that.
Josephus, book 1, chapter 1, paragraph 4.
All right. Hey, I know right before we get there, I had to bring this out because of last week's class. I know we talked about the art of blackballing last week, showing how the media, they won't let you use their platform to promote anything what they feel like is building up the people, and it's contrary to their monetary gain or their agenda. And just so happened I was walking by a newspaper stand, and I saw on the front cover of USA Today, Kyrie Irving is in the hot seat. Now he said a lot of things, he said a lot of statements, but it seems like they isolated, of course, this one particular statement. Not even a statement, he posted a picture of the book Hebrews to Negroes. And that one book, that one post, that one picture is now he got fans sitting courtside with anti-Semitic shirts. You know what I'm saying? He got fans wearing, they're courtside, so they right there on the floor with him. They got courtside seats. They're boycotting and protesting Kyrie Irving's statement. All he did was post one picture, Hebrews to Negroes. That's it, just one picture. That book is anti-Semitic, but you can buy the book on Amazon. How come nobody's boycotting Amazon? You know what I'm saying? Because it's about, the media is about control. The powers that be are about control, manipulation, blackballing, witch hunts.
Yeah.
And they're going to throw away anything that elevates you out of a certain mindset that brings in revenues, whether it be sports, media, or entertainment, music. They just want you to stay in your lane. You play basketball, stay in your lane, play basketball. You play football, you know, you stay in your lane and throw the football. If you're a boxer, stay in your lane and beat somebody up and get beat up. Stay in your lane. Don't use no platforms to exalt any other message than what we care about, because you're under contract and you're property of such and such team or such and such organization. But like I said, that's new in the news, and we already kind of see what Kanye did right immediately after he lost his money. You know, he lost $2 billion in a day. So you know, he came back, apologized, and
market crash.
I don't know what I was thinking. And, you know, I love everybody. I just want to see all the children of Abraham come together. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Big fan of him.
So yeah, so we are the world. We're gonna hold hands together.
Yep.
Anyway, so we want to see how this plays out, but like I said, the witch hunt has already started on this man. So we want to see, you know, how far they take this, and what they make him do. So that should be a sign already that there got to be some, for the world to come against you. There's got to be a sign that there's some truth to something that he's bringing out for the world to come against you. All right. So I just want to bring that out.
I have a problem with the Crips and Bloods, man. Sitting here.
Yeah, never that. Never that gangbang language. They promote that on the album. They make sure they got that. You know, Rep My Set, the first song on the album.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Kill the Ops. Kill the Ops is the second song on the album.
They never have a problem with it.
Never have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All these women are B's and H's. That's the third song. They'll never take that out, because that promotes their agenda. There's a bigger stake. There's something bigger going on right now that we need to wake up to. You know, so just wanted to bring that out because that was kind of like shocking to see how quick they kind of attacked and jumped on him, because they fresh off of Kanye, and so they're looking for their next victim. So but we are not going to stop teaching the truth. So whether it be on these platforms or any other platform or street corners or wherever we are, we're not going to stop teaching the truth. So let's go ahead and get back to the topic. Just want to bring that out real quick. Let's get back to Josephus,
Book 1.
page 30.
Book 1, chapter 1.
And you're saying this applies to relationships, friendships,
bonds,
bonds.
Anybody that you have an affection or affinity towards, read that right there.
Paragraph 4. It says, "The Most High therefore commanded that Adam and his wife should eat of all the rest of the plants."
Okay, you in
Book 1, chapter 1.
You started line verse line 45, not verse, line 45.
I got you.
Yeah.
But when the
get down to the point.
Gotcha. But when the Most High came into the garden, Adam, who was wont before to come and converse with him.
He says, who normally, the relationship between the Most High and Adam, they were always in communication with each other. There was always this frequency of affinity and a connection and communication. They harbored and fostered a great relationship where they constantly talked. And he says it was often that Adam would want to communicate and probe the Most High. Read on.
It says, being conscious of his wicked behavior.
But we know that when you're conscious of your wicked behavior, we know that's guilt. That's the spirit of guilt that comes on a man. And that's the spirit of paranoia that comes on a man. And that's the spirit of shame that comes on a man, which is supposed to come on a man or woman that's out of pocket. You're supposed to be guilty, or you're supposed to feel some type of shame, or you're supposed to be, worried in some type of capacity. Read on.
Went out of the way.
Go ahead.
This behavior surprised the Most High.
Go ahead.
And he asked what was the cause to this procedure.
And he asked what?
What was the cause to his procedure?
Why all of a sudden the strange behavior? Why all of a sudden the lack of communication? Why all of a sudden, the distance? Why are you so distant from? Normally we were close. We were straight. Why are you so distant? Read on.
It says, and why he that had delighted in that conversation.
Normally you love to converse. Now you're withdrawn. You're isolated. You're silent. You're not saying much. Read on.
Did now fly from it.
Go ahead.
And avoid it. When he made no reply, as cautious to himself that he had transgressed the command of the Most High.
Be cautious to himself that he did what?
Transgressed the command of the Most High.
Hey, class already started. Go ahead.
The Most High said, I had before determined about you both.
He said, I have determined about you both. Now, this initially, we're bringing this out because we got to go to the way it's supposed to be.
Cover. True.
We got to go to the way that it was designed. The relationship was designed to be. How the Most High had the initial purpose and intention of bringing a man and a woman together. So he's about to lay out the original design and the workings, the in and outs, the pros and cons, the pluses, not even the cons, just the pluses, the benefits of the union. Read on, he said what?
He said, I had before determined about you both.
Go ahead.
How you might lead a happy life.
How you might what?
Lead a happy life.
He said, how you might lead a what?
Happy life.
He said, the Most High said, listen, I wanted nothing more than your what?
To have a happy life.
I wanted nothing more than your life to be happy.
Happy.
Go ahead.
Without any affliction.
Without what?
Without any affliction.
That was the original design. The original design was for this relationship was to assume a very prosperous and beneficial union and harmony. There was supposed to be happiness. Now, if you can give me one definition real quick. Give me the definition of the word felicity. We're supposed to be happy in this life. I put y'all together so y'all could bring forth happiness. But happiness is, turn off the damn phone. Happiness, it has levels.
So you're saying happiness is, it works in stages or phases, or has layers?
There's layers to happiness. You can be comfortable with a person. You could be familiar with a person. You could suffer a person. You could put up with somebody. Doesn't mean you're happy. You could be content. I'm not too excited, but I don't want to go nowhere because I don't want to start over. So I'll just deal with what I got. I'll just suffer with what I have. But I'm not happy though. The happiness that he's talking about is on another level. This is felicity. Read that definition again.
Felicity. Happiness. Or rather great happiness.
It says, or rather what?
Great happiness.
He says, or rather great, extreme happiness. See, the Most High originally put a man and a woman together to experience extreme happiness, great happiness. That's awesome. If you look at what the Most High was designing when he put a man and a woman together, he was trying to get them to see the beauty of what a relationship can entail. Great happiness. Another definition. Go ahead.
Blessedness.
He said their relationship was supposed to be full of blessedness. All pros, no cons. All wins, no gains. I mean, no losses. Win, win, win.
No matter what.
Read.
Blissfulness.
Blissfulness. Read.
Appropriately.
I want to get to the one that's even more shocking. Go ahead.
The joys of heaven.
He says appropriately the what?
The joys of heaven.
Man, you know what you can get when you're married and you got the right kind of connection, the right harmony. You get a little slice of what?
The joys of heaven.
You get a little piece of what?
Heaven.
You get a little portion. So your relationship could be to that design, to that level and that degree of what the Most High was saying that it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be great happiness when y'all hooked up, y'all got to know each other, y'all made that connection, y'all experienced things, y'all got to know, okay, well, y'all common ground. What do you like? What's your favorite color? What kind of food do you like? When's your birthday or whatever? This is, what's your favorite place to go in the world? What do you want to travel to? All these things, making all these connections, all this communication that goes into stimulating a relationship. Once it's supposed to come together, after you get to know each other, that's why the scripture said that a man not supposed to go to war for a year, so he may stay home and do what?
Cheer his wife.
Cheer his wife. They're supposed to get to know one another. They're supposed to get bonded. That bond's supposed to get gelled up and tight. so that they know they can understand one another. And then it was supposed to go from that and blossom into blessedness. It says, and appropriately what?
Appropriately the joys of heaven.
Now, if we ask the majority of most Israelite relationships, are they experiencing that joy of heaven? Not so much. What you got? Yeah.
That's why I just want to pull this right here. Just to show an example of what you're talking about. That this is biblical. And it's possible. Genesis 26, verse 8 and verse 9. So we can see this is biblical. This is, we're not teaching romance. You know what I'm saying? But this is in the Bible. I'll use like a Roman concept or American concept.
Genesis chapter 26, verse 8.
Go to verse 7. Go to verse 7.
Verse 7.
Faster 7.
And the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, she is my sister.
So who is this? Isaac, right? Isaac said, this is my sister. This is not my wife. Because they wanted to kill, they had a tradition of killing men that have beautiful women in this area. Read.
For he feared to say, she is my wife. Lest, said he, the men of the palace, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon.
She was beautiful. Read on.
And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife.
He was sporting with Rebekah his wife. What does it mean to sport? Sport means to make merry. He was sporting with his wife.
They was laughing together.
They were making merry. They was merry.
They were joking with each other.
That's your sister, man. That's not your sister.
Yeah, they too tight, man. They jokes is too. They got inside jokes that only two people that know each other can understand. You can see the chemistry between them two.
That ain't brother sister chemistry.
No, that's too.
He's sporting with his wife. That's gotta be his wife. They're sporting.
Couldn't that mean he was making out with her too?
No.
It didn't say that.
That ain't what he said.
It says sport means to play. It says to make mockery, to make mirth, to make merry, to play.
They were enjoying each other's company too much
Bingo.
to be siblings.
Right. You know, versus when you drive by somebody in the car, she looking the other way. She looking out the window this way. She really ain't looking at the traffic in front of her. She's in the passenger seat looking out the window this way. He's driving. He looking out this way. Then he look back. Then he look back this way again. Ain't no sport going on in there.
Right.
There's no sporting going on in that vehicle, man.
Sporting over there.
Or you see two people walking. The man is like 10 steps beyond the woman, or the woman's like 10 steps beyond the man. Ain't no sporting going on right there.
Ain't no sporting, bro.
Yeah, hurry up before I leave you.
God.
5 minutes.
Ain't no sporting going on right there. But that's a great point. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Read on.
Verse 9. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, behold, of a surety she is thy wife.
I'm sure this is your wife, bro. You told me this was your sister. Read.
And how sayest thou, she is my sister?
Read on.
And Isaac said unto him, because I said, lest I die for her.
Listen, I'm not going to be dying because y'all guys murder over women. That's all. That's the only point I want to go into. It just shows that, listen, it's okay in the Bible for us to enjoy our ribs. Those of us that are in that situation.
Yeah, a lot of times people misinterpret the truth. You know, they feel like, you know, this is some type of element where women don't speak, where they just beat into submission.
Exactly.
And you know, they kind of, women are covered up, you know, fully dressed, and they got this concept that, you know, that we're just tyrants over women. Yes, sir.
Does this scripture applies to what y'all saying? Proverbs 5:19.
Read
You
it.
don't know.
Proverbs chapter 5 verse 19 reads, let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe.
Yes.
Let her breast satisfy thee at all times.
We're not going.
We're not going there.
We're not going there.
Well,
People be
Unless you
pleasant.
want to
the
focus on the
end
end part.
the
All
end
right,
part.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
get to the end, brother.
And be thou ravished always where love.
No.
Yeah, that's on another level.
Sir,
That's going on an intimate level.
That's a different class.
Yeah, that's they made the marriage right there. That's how they got married right there.
You need to text Sean Shawan for the scripture.
We know that we can understand how it got
That's
how it went
scripture,
down.
bro.
That's what makes marriage, bro. Sex constitutes marriage in the scripture.
soul there.
So we understand that. But let's go back to
Next time.
yeah. Let's read that, y'all. Go ahead.
So it says. 45 conscious. Okay, it says we're in 46. It says, I had therefore determined about you both how you might lead a happy life without any affliction.
Without what?
Without any affliction.
Go ahead.
And care.
Go ahead.
And vexation of soul.
Man, y'all wasn't supposed to be arguing. Y'all weren't supposed to be fighting. Y'all weren't supposed to be at each other's necks. There was not supposed to be contention. It wasn't supposed to be who's gonna outdo who first. Who gonna make who quit first. Or if I quit, I gotta get the best of everything. I gotta make sure that I take care of myself and I walk away on top. It wasn't meant to be this way. That's not how it was meant. Genesis 2:23 says what? Somebody read that. Somebody else get Matthew chapter 19, start at verse 4.
I got Matthew 19.
I got Genesis 2.
Read that.
Genesis 2, verse 23. Right?
Yep.
And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones.
He said what?
This is now bone of my bones.
He said, now this is now bone of my bone. Read.
And flesh of my flesh.
Man, we together. We're united in bonds in our chemistry, man, and our thoughts. This is now this is now a part of me. She's a part of me. It's not two separate individuals anymore. We're on one accord. We're on the same page. We think the same. We have the same goals. We got the same wishes. We identified, we're like-minded. This is bone of my bone. Go ahead.
And flesh of my flesh.
Read on.
She shall be called woman.
Read.
Because she was taken out of man.
Read.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked.
They said then they shall be one what? One flesh. Now read Matthew 19. Read that verse 4.
God. You said verse 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Straight to the point.
God. Matthew chapter 19 and verse 4 reads, And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
He said, he that made them at the beginning made them what?
Male and female.
He said, he that made them at the beginning made them what?
Male and female.
He made them male and female. Read on.
And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife.
Go ahead.
And they twain shall be one flesh.
Can they be joined together?
Twain one flesh.
Can they become one flesh?
Twain one flesh.
Two separate individuals with two separate intentions. Can they be unified, tied together, where they bring their happiness, their goals, their joys, the things that they want to see come to pass, the prosperity of their children? Can they become like-minded?
There should be
Twain one flesh.
Read on.
Wherefore they are no more twain,
Go ahead.
but one
It
flesh.
says they're no longer two separate individuals. Now they learn how to share with each other's vision. They know how to expound on each other's goals. They can sharpen each other, with the ideas. They can throw ideas at each other, and both equally can sharpen those ideas. It's almost like having a second pair of hands. It's now like having a second brain. Because this is what somebody else get Ecclesiastes 4:9 says what? Read that. And then hold that, my water, where you at?
Ecclesiastes 4 verse 9.
Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Sorry, not Apocrypha. Ecclesiastes 4:9. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 9. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
It says, two are better than one,
Read.
because they have a good reward for their labor.
It says, for they have what?
Good reward for their labor.
So when you unite two people together, then they're able to multiply strength. They're able to multiply each other's labor. That means that when you put two people together that are like-minded, it doubles everything. This is the Most High's way of giving a man damn near a clone of himself. That means the Most High gets the opportunity to give a man 2 brains, 4 eyes, 4 hands, 4 feet. With 4 goals. 2 goals. And double the manpower. Duplicate my effort. Now I should be twice as strong, twice as powerful as I was by myself. That's what the Most High is allowing a man to experience. He's able to duplicate himself and be in 2 places at one time. Why is that? Because his other half could be where he can't be. He has eyes in places where his eyes normally don't go. He has ears that can hear things that he normally couldn't hear. And you also have a mind that is a duplicate copy that thinks just like his mind. So his mind could travel in more than one dimension, in more than one place, at more than one time. And so he should be able to do double the work, have double the benefit. That's the way it should be. Because it's not wrong. 2 is better than 1. It's hard to do everything by yourself. But when you got help, you got assistance, you have a partner, you have somebody that can give you assistance, you should be able to save twice as much time than having to do things by yourself. Time should be mitigated and expedited when it comes to responsibilities. We should be able to tackle these 2 objectives twice as fast because we doubled our strength. The Most High didn't create this thing to be in a bad way. Unfortunately, we don't always experience the real benefit of the Most High multiplying 2 people together and putting them together so they can have twice as much strength and power as they normally could, twice as much reward. Read on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 10. For if they fall,
It said, for if they fall, if one falls, one gets sick, house don't collapse. One lose a job, house don't collapse. One's without income, house don't collapse. So one is handicapped, deficient, they can still function. It said, for if one fall, read on.
For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
Yeah, it's good. It's great because look at what the Most High provided in a marriage. You have an assistant to where if you're not as strong as you could be, you have a help, an assistant that can help maintain what you care about while you recover yourself, while you get on top of yourself, while you get back to strength. And that goes for both parties. And they're able to even expedite the healing because one can make sure that, hey, this spirit is getting nourished again. Read on.
But woe to him that is alone.
It says, but destruction to him that's what?
That is alone.
Why?
When he falleth.
It says, not that it's a bad thing to be by yourself. It's not a bad thing to be by yourself. Matter of fact, I want to read this real quick. I want to read this real quick. Hold on. Hold on. Read. No, go ahead and read on. I'm going to bring this out in just a minute. I don't want to bring it out too soon. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 4 and verse 10. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
It says the one will do what?
Lift up his fellow.
The one will lift up his fellow. Read on.
But woe to him that is alone.
Go ahead.
When he falleth.
Go ahead.
For he hath not another to
It
help
says,
him
for
up.
he have not what?
Another.
So when you're in a marriage, the Most High gives you what?
Another.
He gives you another one. That means you are twice as strong than you are by yourself. The problem is we're not experiencing the duplication of this strength. We're not experiencing because there's so much contention involved. There's so much arguments involved. There's so much debate involved. There's so much animosity involved. There's so much envy involved. There's so much disgust involved. There's so much lack of respect involved. We're not experiencing the felicity of what the Most High intended by, which is that extreme happiness, that little piece of heaven. We're not experiencing that because we're too busy at odds with each other. We're too busy looking ill towards each other. So we're not able to fully grasp the concept of what it means to see the benefit of having both parties working together as a unit. Can't really see it. We're not seeing it, and that's a problem. But that's the way it's supposed to be. So let that go and go back to where we was at. And you got Josephus. Go ahead. And you had Matthew 19, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna go. So finish that in Josephus real quick.
Where I had or where I left off?
I had before.
Cool. So I had before determined about you both, how you might lead a happy life.
Go ahead.
Without any affliction.
Y'all both were supposed to be experiencing joy with no affliction. Read on.
And care. And vexation of soul.
Y'all weren't supposed to be mad at each other, vexed at each other, angry at each other, bitter at each other. Go ahead. Distant from one another. Wasn't supposed to be that way. That's not why the Most High put a man and woman together. Read on.
It says, and that all things which might contribute to your enjoyment and pleasure.
It says everything around you was supposed to be committed to your what?
To your enjoyment and pleasure.
It was supposed to be for your enjoyment and your pleasure. The children were supposed to be for your enjoyment and your pleasure. Like Dawiyah just brought out. The sporting. With the communication, the excitement, the fun, the jeering, the mocking, the laughing, the joking, all that was supposed to be for your what?
It should be the opposite of what it is now.
Shit, man.
It should be the opposite.
Read.
It says, for your enjoyment and pleasure should grow up by my providence.
It says out, and if you just focus on what I want you to focus on, it says everything will grow at my providence. If you just focus on what I'm asking you to focus on. Now we know that unfortunately these things don't always pan out like the Most High intended. And this brings us to our next point. Want to go to Josephus. Somebody get book 4, chapter 8. Let's get to Josephus. Book 4, chapter 8. Now we gotta read this real quick from Philo.
All right.
I want you to read this real quick when it says, this is paragraph 53.
Paragraph 53.
And Philo. We're going to read, hold that Josephus. Read this right here. But since nothing in creation.
But since nothing in creation.
Because Philo said the same thing that we're about to read now. He said since nothing in creation, what?
Last forever.
Go ahead.
But all mortal things are liable.
Stop right there. Give me the definition of liable. What? He said all mortal things are what?
Liable.
Liable. Give me the definition of liable. Somebody get that definition. 1828.
Liable. Bound. Obliged in law or equality.
Go ahead.
Responsible. Answerable.
No, give me the second definition.
It says subject.
It's subject to what?
Obnoxious. Exposed.
Go ahead.
That's all I got right there. Oh, liable in this sense.
Go ahead.
Is always
get the verb, not the noun. It said liable in this sense is what?
It says it's always applied
to what?
To evil.
He says in this life, the mortal man is liable. Meaning what? Mortal man is subject to what? Evils. There is a downside to sin coming into the world. Now, of course, we know sin came through Eve by way of Eve. We said, but men are liable, which means men are subject to what? Evils. Evils are going to happen. That's why Christ even said, offenses shall come. But woe unto whom the offenses come. Negative is going to happen. At this point in time, negative is everywhere. So there's going to be some evils. Read on to that definition.
We never say a man is liable to happiness or prosperity, but he is liable to disease, calamity,
disease, get sick. Read on. Calamities.
Calamities.
Fall into hard times.
censor, he is liable to err, to sin,
He
to
said
fall.
he's liable to err, he's going to make mistakes, he's going to sin, and he's going to fall. All these things are inevitable. You can't run away from these things. These things are going to happen. These things are bound to happen. Whether you are by yourself or whether you are in a relationship. There are bound to, there's failure, evils around the corner. We know the scripture says what? Where good is what?
Evil is
Evil
present.
is present.
Evil is present. So let's finish reading this real quick one more time. But since nothing in creation lasts forever,
It says, but all things are liable,
it says, but all things are what?
liable
To what?
to inevitable changes and alterations.
It says all things are liable to inevitable what?
Changes and alterations.
So all things are liable to changes and alterations. So even though I have made a life commitment with somebody, things are not always going to be felicitous. Things are not always going to be happy. Things are not always going to be joyous.
On the up and up.
Things are not always going to be positive. You have to know that in a relationship and in a marriage, there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some problems. There's going to be some downsides, downturns in the relationship.
Valleys and peaks.
Peaks and valleys, highs and lows. He said what?
It says it was unavoidable.
It says alterations and changes.
And alterations. It says it was unavoidable that the first man should undergo some disaster.
He said it was unavoidable that the first man was going to experience some what?
Some disaster.
That he was going to experience some what?
Disaster.
It was going to happen. You got to expect that. The problem is people get into these relationships and they don't expect anything to go wrong.
What is that?
There's almost like this hope that, but go ahead, ask.
No, I was just asking.
There's always this hope that it's gonna go right all the time.
Isn't that why we teach against that whole false Christian mindset? You're gonna be Israelite, nothing bad's gonna happen, you're gonna be perfect. It's that same idealism, false idealism. Yeah, the marriage, the brotherhood, everything, the check, everything's gonna be perfect all the time.
Perfect all the time, right? Right? Read on.
It says, some disaster, and the beginning of his life being liable to reproach was his wife.
What was Adam's beginning of being liable, or what was gonna be bound to go wrong?
His wife.
His wife.
It's crazy.
His wife was
Wow.
more likely to go wrong. We know that the scripture says, from her became the beginning of what?
Sin.
And through her we all what?
Die.
We all will die. So you know that was it. That the mistakes were going to be made because the union was mortal. They're both mortals.
God.
And Adam's first mistake came by what? His wife. So how critical are relationships? How critical is it for a man to understand a marriage?
Very.
It's the first thing that a man could go wrong with. It's one of the greatest things, and the first thing that we read in the Bible that a man made a mistake on. It's man's first mistake. It's man's first error. If you don't grab the idea that we got to learn from the past, and that I gotta learn from the past, and I can't duplicate the mistakes of my forefathers, then why am I not perfecting what I know has been the first era of man? Why haven't I been perfecting this? This is the first mistake a man has ever made. It was with his woman. How can we not take this into consideration that I too may make this same mistake, or I gotta perfect that so I don't make that mistake? Yes, sir.
I don't know if it ever was, but I think it would be a much better thing if the parents knew that to teach children that.
Right.
You know?
It would be.
I mean, it is good. Like if every man in here was taught that, hey, this is what's going to happen when you get with a female, and so you got to prepare yourself and this and that. That doesn't go on.
Right.
So I'm just saying, maybe it's the parent part, or I don't know if it used to go on in the old days.
Well, you know,
Who knows?
well, you know, there was a lot of ignorance on our behalf. The scripture say, "My people are destroyed for what?
Lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge." So there was a lot of errors that was made on our behalf because of the knowledge of the Bible wasn't really expounded upon us in our previous generations as it is now. You know, so but there was a lot of wise things, traditions that that hopefully would have been passed down. You know, you never hit a woman. You know, but these things we were told.
I heard never go to sleep angry.
Yeah, never go to sleep angry, never hit a woman. You know, let not the sun go down on that wrath. They were saying it, but they couldn't show in the Bible where it was. You know, they didn't really know the Bible too well, but they knew biblical concepts, and they had morality. You know, they had some type of morality. You know, there was some chivalry involved. You know, lay down your coat on a puddle. I mean, that was just traditions, but that wasn't biblical. But there was a lot of lessons that they were trying to give, even from their perspective, or their mistakes. From the things that they did wrong, they didn't want to see you duplicate those same mistakes. They didn't want to see you go down the same path that they went down. Multitude of baby daddies, multitude of baby mamas, many last names. You got a tattoo of Mark, and that's crossed out. Then you got, Junie B, that's crossed out. And then you got Larry, then that's crossed out. You know what I'm saying? The failures that they made, they don't want to see you make the same mistake. So there was some care. It just wasn't enough knowledge. So I think that
I realized we got turned out too through slavery and all that other stuff.
Right. There was
upside down.
Of course, but there was a lot of morality in a man, being the backbone of the household, the woman being the glue, keeping things together, making sure that the domestic things of the household ran.
Right.
And like I said, and it's not that Philo was saying that it's not that a man has to be married, because read this right here.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
For as long as he was single,
it says, as long as Adam was single, read on.
He resembled as to his creation.
He was following in the footsteps of who? The Most High. Go ahead.
Both the world and the Most High.
It said both his job that the Most High gave him in the world and the Most High's frame of mind. Read.
And he represented his soul, the characteristics of the nature of each.
Go ahead.
I do not mean all of them.
Meaning like he was a man and a woman at the same time. That's not what he's saying. Go ahead.
But such as a mortal constitution was capable of admitting.
It says, but as far as what a single man could do, as far as showing the Most High dedication, showing the Most High commitment, Adam was the definition of commitment, responsibility, and honorable duties in serving the Most High. So it wasn't that Adam just needed some help, and the Most High saw that, and this is why the Most High said, "It is not good that man should be what? Alone." He said, "But I shall make him a what? Help me." So this is where the Most High said, "Okay, this man has got his fingers to the grinding, to the plow. He's working. He can use a little bit of help." So we're just reading from an excerpt to follow, but we're now, if you got a Josephus, for those online, go to the Josephus book 4, chapter 8, and I want you to start at line 41 or paragraph 41.
You said Josephus?
Yeah, Josephus, book 4, chapter 8, paragraph 41. It's on page 123.
41. Gotcha. It says, let this be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let this be the Constitution.
He said, let this be the what?
The Constitution.
Go ahead.
Of your political laws.
He said, let this be the Constitution of your political laws. Read on.
In time of peace.
In time of what?
Peace.
Now, here's what you got to listen to what Josephus is saying right here, of what he was explaining about the laws of the Most High. He says that because you know that all things are not going to be like we just read. There's going to be mortal things are liable to inevitable changes and alterations. and it was unavoidable, right, that the first man should undergo some disaster. You got to know that there's going to be a disaster. You got to know that there's going to be hard times. You got to anticipate that there's going to be some low periods and low points in the relationship. So with that in mind, read it again.
It says, let this be the constitution of your political laws in time of peace.
In the time of what?
Peace.
This is how you should be thinking in the time of peace. When you're not at each other's necks. When you're not fighting one another. When you're not arguing. When you're actually sporting, like Dawiya brought out, when there's actually sport between one another. When there's a good time and happiness between each other. Read on.
And the Most High will be so merciful as to preserve this excellent settlement free from disturbance.
He's telling you what it takes to maintain a marriage. He says if you keep this mind frame within this relationship or marriage in the time of peace, he said the Most High will take care that you shall not experience many disturbances. He's giving you some game on how to maintain a marriage. Continue.
And may that time never come which may innovate anything.
It says, and may that time never come which may innovate anything. Well, now, a lot of time, modern day definition of innovations are like, man, that guy's creative. Man, that guy's, he's smart. He's innovative. He's smart. Biblical definition of innovate is not the same. Is innovate is when somebody imagines something that's off and away from morality.
Deviating?
They're deviating from morality. That's somebody creating something in their imagination. That's an opinion, and that's pride. Those are forms of, and I'll prove that later on, probably after class, but I don't want to take it away from the point. This is not a good innovation. He's talking about innovations of deviating from morality. When a man starts creating, or a woman starts creating things in their minds that deviate from what the Most High intended. Read on.
It says, and change it for the contrary.
And he changed it to the what?
For the contrary.
And it's opposite of what the Most High had designed for marriage in the way it was supposed to be. Because this is what happens when people get together, and then all of a sudden the purpose and intention and the design of how the Most High created a marriage, they start living the opposite of it. And they start going in contrary directions, and they don't experience the felicity. They don't experience the happiness. They don't experience the joy between one another. All of a sudden, the whole relationship is broken. And they're not experiencing a piece of heaven. They're experiencing a piece of hell. Read on.
It says, but since it must needs happen that mankind fall into troubles and dangers.
It's inevitable. The same thing that Philo said is the same thing that Josephus said. That things are not always going to be perfect. And if you can understand this, especially in the time of peace, you can prepare for the storm. You should be preparing for the hard times during peacetime. You should be preparing for war during a time where everything's A-okay. Because you know what happens? People are in disbelief when the person that you're supposed to be married to and experiencing this high form of pleasure is causing you so much pain. Now all of a sudden I don't know what to do. Now all of a sudden I'm lost. Man, I'm not sure which way to go. Should I go? Should I stay? Should I fight? Should I quit? Should I leave? Why are you so unstable? As if you didn't anticipate disaster? But in order to continue a marriage and to maintain one, you have to anticipate disaster. Read on.
It says either undesignedly.
Either what?
Either undesignedly.
Meaning this disaster wasn't part of what y'all talked about when y'all came together. This wasn't part of the plan. The fighting every day, the arguing every day, the barely could sleep in the same bed, could barely see each other without there being some bitterness, holding a grudge on one another, talking to each other like enemies. He said this wasn't part of the design. That wasn't what the Most High was doing when he brought a man and a woman together. Hey, y'all household enemies. Y'all can't even stand each other. You really can't talk for more than 5 minutes without an argument. You really can't be in the same room without there being contention. You really can't say something without somebody interpreting what you're saying the wrong way and taking it the wrong way. That's not what I meant. You taking what I'm saying the wrong way. That's not the point I was trying to get at. You heard me what I was saying. I heard everything you were saying. Man, it said that wasn't part of the design. He said these disasters are undesigned. Read on.
So either undesignedly or intentionally.
Or intentionally. Read on.
Come, let us make a few constitutions concerning them.
And he's coming back and saying, listen, let me show you what a marriage is supposed to look like. Let me show you how to withdraw yourself from violent activities. Let me show you how to maintain your relationship without hostility. Let me show you how to come together in harmony. Let me show you what it takes to love one another. Read on.
It says that so, being apprised beforehand what ought to be done.
He says what you need in your marriage is preventative measures. You need in your marriage more than anything is to know what to do in case something goes wrong and not to be caught off guard. This is why people are in such disasters in their relationships, because when the relationship starts turning downward, when disaster strikes, when arguments happen, nobody knows what to do but be all wrapped up into their emotions. Nobody has answers. He said, if you follow my advice that I'm giving you, it'll save your marriage in the moment of when it's tempestuous, when it's argumentative, when it's full of strife. If you follow my advice. Read on.
You may have salutary.
Oh, wait a minute. You gotta define this word, because I don't want this to go over people's heads. He says, in order to prevent your marriage from falling out and bottoming out and being a complete failure, he said you must have salutary what? What does that definition of that word mean?
Salutary, wholesome, healthful.
You need wholesome. You need what?
Healthful.
You need healthy, healthful, wholesome. What?
Counsels.
What?
Counsels.
You need wholesome, healthful what?
Counsels.
To keep your marriage alive. He said, if you follow my advice, you won't be talking about divorce. If you follow my advice, you won't be talking about separation. If you follow my advice, you won't be shocked when things start turning bad. He said, if you follow my advice, you'll maintain the felicity that belongs in your household, the way the Most High designed it to be. If you follow my advice. He said you need wholesome, healthful, what?
Counsels.
Counsel. That's what salutary means. Because the way you're doing it, the way you're going about it, it's not wholesome, it's disastrous, it's not pleasurable, and it's not healthy. It's vexation. If you don't incorporate wholesome, healthy counsels within your relationship is doomed. He said this is how you prevent failure in a marriage. He says you may have salutary what?
Counsels.
What? Oh, he says you got to have salutary counsels when?
Ready.
They got to be what?
Ready.
They got to be what?
Ready.
You got to have healthy, wholesome counsels ready to go for disaster. Who stacks up counsels just in case we get into an argument? To bring the harmony back together. Who stacks up counsels and have counsels on deck? I got counsels on deck ready to deliver to this person just in case I see strife. I got counsels on deck ready to go. Just in case I see, hey man, something ain't right between us. I got counsels on deck, man. I got them ready, man. I got my counsels written down.
I got one right here. Because you read earlier in the Josephus about the spirit of providence.
Right.
By the Most High's providence. The word providence means the act of providing or preparing.
Or what?
The act of providing or preparing for future use or application.
Right. So who got those counsels ready to go on deck?
By the Most High's providence.
But who got it?
The Most High.
No, we supposed to have
We're
them.
supposed to have it.
Most High got to give them. He has them to offer.
Come.
But we don't use them.
Mhm.
See, that's why relationships start going downhill and down the drain. Because what the Most High has to give us to utilize to maintain the marriage, we don't use. We don't use what the Most High has to offer. We use what we create. And that's why I talked about that innovate. That innovate is a creation based on my imagination. It's something I designed.
Yeah.
So because I designed the direction of the relationship, I designed where I feel like what we should be dealing with and talking about and where we should be in our marriage and what your role is and what my role is, and you better do this, you better do that, you better listen to me and follow after my advice because I designed it. Now he's saying that this is where the failure is. Because I'm going off what I created. I innovated the counsel. I didn't use the counsel that the Most High gave me that was healthy, that was wholesome, that was on deck. Brothers get shocked when the relationships start falling out. This is what catches men off guard, what catches women off guard. All of a sudden I'm not happy, she's not happy, we're not happy. We're arguing every day, we don't get along. There's always a problem. There's problems and issues every day. Where are your counsels that are supposed to be ready to deliver during the time of peace? You're supposed to have been stacking them counsels during peacetime. You know why it's too late? It's too late to try to bring in the wholesome, healthy counsels when you don't even have them together, when you don't got your stuff together. Then that's when you're caught off guard like, man, I need some counsel. I'm trying to save this. You were supposed to be collecting those counsels during peacetime.
During the peace times.
Not the war. It's too late to try to figure out what to do when you're in the middle of a battle.
Yeah.
My family never taught me this.
Nobody ever taught us this.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's just a lack of being upside down.
You know what rules the relationship? Emotion.
Dang, Skippy, you got that right.
Feelings.
You got that right.
You know why? Because when we were together in harmony, we're supposed to have been both stacking up salutary counsels. We're supposed to have been getting prepared just in case there's a downturn in the relationship, in the chemistry, or the chemistry began to get sour. We're supposed to have been prepared for that. But nobody prepares for that. Nobody's thinking in advance. Nobody's stacking their counsels up. Man, let me go ahead and have these counsels ready just in case something go wrong. There's only a few men that do that. Job is one of them. Go to Job chapter 1, I believe, verse 5.
Prime
Read that.
example. This scripture. This scripture.
Job chapter 1, verse 4 and 5. Read that.
Job chapter 1, verse
4.
4. And his sons went and feasted.
First of all, what kind of man is Job?
The upright man of the Most
Read verse
High.
1.
Come, Job chapter 1, verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright.
Hold on. That man was what?
Perfect and upright,
Go ahead.
and one that feared the Most High.
A lot of people get tripped up on Job because it says the word perfect. A lot of people get tripped up because it's using the word perfect, and people say, well, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, so I don't know.
Can't do it.
I can't do it. This is beyond me. This is above my pay scale. I can't handle this because I'm a human and I make mistakes and I'm only human. So people will bank on the fact that they're not perfect, they're imperfect, and they'll use it as an excuse to say why I can't be like Job and this doesn't apply to me. But in that definition of what it's referring to is this right here. Being a just man. Read this right here.
Here it says, same being a just man.
Hold on, right here.
It says, right here, he.
Right, he.
He also says that he was perfect.
So it's a few people that when you read the Bible, what will precede their name is a description about the quality of the man. Noah is one of them. Noah is one that we read that he said he was a perfect man. Job is another man that said he was a perfect man. So what is he referring to?
Imitating.
He said that what made this man perfect is that what?
Intimating, right?
Intimating.
Okay.
The word perfect is intimating what?
Intimating by this expression that he was possessed not of one virtue only.
It says he was not a one-trick pony.
Wow.
Meaning Noah was not perfect, meaning he only had one virtue. If you only got one virtue, that word perfect doesn't precede your name.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have more than one virtue to get the classification of being called perfect in the scripture.
Wow.
He said he was intimating. Yes, sir.
And with that virtue, would that be like a superior virtue, not just the average virtue?
Well, let's
superior meekness.
Well, let's find out. I like what you're asking, because you can't just have one. He said you wouldn't be classified as perfect if you only had one virtue. What made people classified in the scriptures as perfect is because they had more than one virtue. Read on.
It says, not one virtue only, but of all.
They had what?
Of all.
They had what?
Of all.
What makes a man perfect in the scriptures?
Having all virtues.
They got all the virtues. So it wasn't just that I'm without sin. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about what makes a man perfect is he possessed more than one virtue. Not only one, he got all the virtues. He's collected all the piety. He has all justice. He has all reverence. He has all fortitude. He has all prudence. He got all temperance. He got all meekness. He got all hope. He got all love.
Charity.
All patience. All charity.
All the courage.
All courage. All meekness, temperance, forgiveness. That's what makes that man perfect. He's collected all the virtues. So, let's go back to Job. Finish that.
And that being so possessed of them, he constantly...
And because he possesses all the virtues, he what?
He constantly exhibited every one of them according to his power and opportunities.
So, because he collected all the virtues, this man could use the virtues at his disposal as needed. This man had patience on deck. He had temperance on deck. He had fortitude on deck. He had meekness on deck. He had all these things, piety on deck, which is reverence to the Most High. He had justice on deck. And based on the situation, he could apply that virtue at his disposal as he felt it was needed. I know this situation between me and this person. To heal this situation between me and this person, I'm going to have to apply temperance. And I got plenty of it.
Like that.
So I know what's going to heal this situation. Temperance is going to heal this situation. I know what's going to heal this argument. Patience is going to heal this argument. I know that what's going to resolve this fight. Meekness is going to resolve this fight. I know how to use these virtues at my disposal and as needed as the situation arises. And not many people have enough virtues, let alone all of them, in order to fix all of their situations. So now let that go and let's go back to where we at in Job.
Job 1.
Mm-hmm.
Job chapter 1, verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job.
Go ahead.
And that man was perfect and upright.
So we understand that man was what?
Perfect and upright.
That man had a whole lot of virtues, bro. He had all the virtues. You know what? Possessing all those virtues was able to give him some foresight. It was able to give him an ability to see ahead of danger.
I believe it.
And that's why he said this in verse 4. Read verse 4.
Job chapter 1 and verse 4. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned, and cursed the Most High in their hearts. Thus did Job continue.
It said, thus did what?
Job continued.
So Job had salutary what? Counsels ready to go in case there's a mistake.
Wow.
Sounds a lot like a military operation.
Yeah, he was
Or preventative maintenance.
It was a contingency
Building
plan.
your arsenal.
Yeah.
He had an arsenal of virtues so as to prevent disaster.
I never looked at it that way.
So he performed sacrifices and stuff in case
His
his
kids,
sons had something bad in their heart against God.
right? Because he knew that disaster is inevitable. Mistakes are inevitable.
God.
So he was ahead of the game. He was ahead of the curve. He was ahead of the fallout.
I got that covered.
He was ahead of the sin. He was ahead of the errors. Every man's supposed to be stacking up salutary counsels so that they can be ready to dispense them as they need.
We do it when it comes to money. That's how you know it's in man.
Yeah.
Because Israel conscious, oh man, the car might
That's
break
what
down.
really matters.
You might get a gun there. Baby might get sick.
Yep.
You know, they might pop up and really want them loans. That loan money.
Yep.
That letter might come through. Oh, it's the letter's here. The letter's here.
Yeah.
It came in.
It came in. You know what you got to do?
We think like that when it comes to finances.
Yep.
But we don't think spiritual enough to look at things like that when it comes to our interactions with people.
And this is what, and especially when it comes to marriages. I'm not ready for disasters, and so when disaster strikes, I'm at a loss. And I'm left with not a lot of answers. I don't have a lot of wholesome words. Because I don't have a lot of wholesome counsels. The words I have are unhealthy. Because I wasn't prepared. I didn't prepare in advance for a fallout. Because I didn't have these counsels on deck ready to go to dispense, to heal the situation, to extinguish the fire. I couldn't put the fire out. And and that's what people do. They let divisions, misunderstandings, miscommunication break relationships. Because they don't got no words to salvage a relationship. They let misunderstandings deviate or deter what the Most High created was supposed to be a piece of harmony. I let a little misunderstanding. I let a little misinterpretation. I didn't understand. I didn't hear you all the way, or I just couldn't. You be tempered enough to be calm-minded to really get to the bottom of the problem. I wasn't ready. You know what they call that? Immaturity. Spiritual immaturity. To not be prepared for disaster when something happens. We should all be preparing during peacetime. What happens just in case there's a violation. Not many men in the scriptures had that foresight. Job is one of them. He had prayers on deck in preparation just in case his kids cursed the Most High in his heart. Not intentional, just by way of drinking. Maybe they got a little loose in their speech. Finish that.
Verse 6?
Yeah, no, that's the 4 and 5. Let's go back to where we were at in Josephus, book 4, chapter 8, 293, line 293.
The Antiquities of the Jews, book 4, chapter 8, paragraph 41.
Somebody else give me Jeremiah 17 and 5.
You want all 293 again?
Yeah, and somebody else get Proverbs 16 and 20. Somebody get that.
But since it must needs happen that mankind fall into troubles and dangers.
It said since it's going to happen that mankind, we know we're mortal, and we're bound for errors and mistakes. Go ahead.
Either undesignedly.
Go ahead.
Or intentionally.
Go ahead.
Come, let us make a few constitutions.
It says this is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be making a few constitutions. Go ahead.
Concerning them.
Go ahead.
That so being apprised beforehand.
It says so as far as being apprised beforehand. Go ahead.
What ought to be done.
They know what to do in advance. This is how you handle dissension, separation, division, contention in the marriage in advance. During peacetime, you should be doing this. Not during the fight. Sit down and get your Bible. It ain't gonna work. Sit down and get your Bible. It's not gonna work. That's what we do. Go get your Bible. Damn it. That ain't gonna work. Hostility is too great. We're supposed to be talking about this in advance. Read on.
You may have solitary counsels, ready when you want them.
Ready when you what?
Want them.
That's what you're supposed to be stacking up. Preventative measures during peacetime. That means you got to be studying and collecting these counsels from the men around you and from people around you that's been married for a long time, that have experience being married. You're supposed to be gaining these counsels. Healthy counsels. Wholesome counsels. Read on.
And may not then be obliged to go to seek what is to be done.
And then you're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. That's where people get caught off guard at. You in the midst of a damn war in your household that live at your address. The battle was at your address, and now you don't even know what to do. That's why you're sitting in the car in the driveway. Thinking about, should I come in right now or should I wait? Because if I come in right now, it's a war. The heat is on. Let me go ahead and wait it out a little bit.
Be on the roof, right?
Yeah.
Stay on the rooftop.
Let me wait it out for a while, and let's see if this thing will just. I'm gonna just creep in the house, put my keys down slow. I'm gonna tiptoe in the house, take my shoes off, try not to make too much noise. I'm gonna try to slide my feet under the covers without the bed shaking.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm gonna just try to barely get the sliver of the corner of the bed. I'm gonna just hit the couch real quick. And as soon as you get into that sleep,
Waterworks.
listen, man, it ain't gonna stop. It's too late at that point. Where your counsels at? Where your counsels at? Where's your answers at?
Oh my goodness.
Where's your fire extinguisher? You can't look for the fire extinguisher when the fire's on. You got to know where it's at. It's too late. He said that's why he said that then there'll be a resolve to know what to do. Then you're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? But it's too late trying to figure out what you're going to do when you're in the midst of a heated situation, where you don't know if the relationship is going to last, if it's going to fail, if you don't know if you're going to work for a week, a month, or another year, or another hour. You got to know what to do in advance. And people aren't preparing themselves in advance. Read on.
God. And so be unprovided.
And so be what?
Unprovided.
What does that mean? They're going to be caught off guard, man. They don't got no ammunition. They don't have the words to save the relationship. I don't have the words to salvage my marriage. Because I didn't collect the counsels when I should have been collecting the counsels, which is in advance, prior to the argument. See, this is why people that study in advance, they seek counsel in advance. When they hit a roadblock or an obstacle, it doesn't hurt so bad. They still get affected. But I'm not trying to get counsel at 2 o'clock in the morning, because that's what brothers do. Hey, brother, I need to talk to you about my situation. Damn, brother, it's 2. You know how many marriage classes we got online? You know how many relationship classes we got on? We got a whole lot of classes online, bro.
Profit on demand.
Yeah, profit on tap. Counsel on tap. I want the counsel right now, brother. It's 2 in the morning. Hey, I just want to let you know, I didn't really put my hands on her.
Oh.
But I just grabbed her.
My hands fell on.
It was a reflex.
What happened?
What, you know what I'm saying? It was a reflex. I just want to let you know it was a reflex. It's 2 in the morning. It's 2 in the morning, all you hear is screaming. That's all you hear at 2 in the morning on the phone. Hey, brother, soft answer turns away wrath. Hey, brother. Hear it first, then rebuke. Be slow to speak, slow to wrath, swift to hear, bro. Come on, brother. Don't do that. It's 2 in the morning, bro. You like it. You know you in a deep sleep and you still got the slobber on you and the cold in your eye. It's like, brother, you gotta go outside for a second, bro. You gotta go in the car. Just wait on go in the car real quick. Wait in the car, man. It's gonna be all right. Listen, get to the brother's house ASAP. Go to the brother's house.
That's a base.
Yeah. To the brother's house. Quick. It's too late, man. If you don't have these counsels, you don't have this understanding or mind frame that I know what to do in advance prior to the disaster, then you'll be unprovided. Meaning, you're SOL. You don't have that. Who can help you at that point? It's a disaster in the making. Go ahead.
And fall into dangerous circumstances.
And they fall into what?
Dangerous circumstances.
And that dangerous circumstance is what Christ was talking to. Go back to Matthew chapter 19. Let that go. Or the police show up. 5-0 show up. Public safety. Public servants.
Big brother pops up.
Yeah. They and you know what? They're not really trying to hear you and who did what.
Right.
They're going to see scuffles, torn clothes, scratches, and they got a job to do, and their job is to separate the danger. So let's go ahead and just take you down. We're not saying you're going to be locked up for, we're not going to jail. We're just going to take you down to the cooler. We're going to take you down to the magistrate, let you cool off a little bit. You'll be out by the morning, no worries. You'll be out by the morning. You'll see the judge, judge come in about 6 in the morning. You'll see the judge and the magistrate at about 6 in the morning. Everything will be all right. You explain it to the judge. But right now, I just need you to, whose house is this? I need you to leave. I need you to grab your belongings and leave. I need you to just listen, I'm not hearing it, leave. The kids can stay. Sometimes the car can stay. But I need you to leave. They say you fall into what? Disastrous situations. These things happen every day, all day. And people don't know how they got in this situation, and they're ill prepared. They're not prepared for these things. And then that disaster is Matthew chapter 19. Read that right there.
Matthew 19, verse what?
Start at verse 7.
Matthew,
Verse 6.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 6. Wherefore they are no more twain.
It says they're no more what?
Twain.
Go ahead.
But one flesh.
They're what?
One flesh.
Go ahead.
What therefore the Most High have joined together, let no man put asunder.
Let no man put asunder. You're not supposed to separate what the Most High put together. Go ahead.
They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement?
Then comes the what?
Divorcement.
The divorcement. Why is divorce even allotted? Why is that even an option? Read on.
And to put her away.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart.
Because of what?
The hardness of your hearts.
Jeremiah 17:5, right? I think we had that, right? Who had that?
No one
We
does.
called it a minute ago. Who got Jeremiah 17:5? Somebody read
Jeremiah 17 and verse 5.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord,
Go ahead.
cursed be the man.
Cursed be the what?
The man
That what?
that trusteth in man.
Cursed be the man that does what?
Trusteth in man.
Because man, when man gets hard, his heart gets hard, he's not listening to the Most High. He's not listening to salutary counsels. He's not listening to wholesome counsels. He's not listening to healthy counsels. He's not doing that. He only believes what he's thinking in his mind. He said, "Cursed be the man that what?
Trusteth in man."
Yeah, that's why it's never going to work. That thing is doomed and destined to fail because that man only trusts who? His man. That man only trusts his thought process. Oh, she ain't going nowhere. She better not leave. Oh, I got too much invested into her. She broke. I got everything. She can't do nothing without me. I built her up. She'll never be the same without me. She can't go nowhere. Who gonna want her? She got 5 kids. Who gonna want her? Ain't nobody gonna want her. Well, you may say that. I myself was a child of a stepfather that took care of 5 kids that was none of them was his. None of them was his. But he taught us how to drive. He let us borrow the car. Gave us lunch money every day. Bought us school clothes. You can say nobody's gonna want her. I built her up. I made her. She ain't going nowhere. Or vice versa. He ain't going nowhere. He's in love. He's stuck. I got all his information. I got him wrapped around my pinky. He ain't going nowhere. Yeah, okay. You can say that.
Never know.
You never know. But you know what? There was already things that were supposed to be preventative before the disaster. You should, but you know, he says the hardness of men's heart is why Moses allowed the divorce. Because when men's supposed to be listening, they only trust who? Themselves. They only trust themselves. When women are supposed to be listening, they only trust who? Themselves. That's why they get cursed. And it's always the other person's fault. After the they can never see themselves as being responsible as far as why the relationship came to an end. But he said, "Cursed is the man that does what?
Trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm."
Because my strength was my ability, my power, my way of thinking, doing things my way. You can do things your way all you want. That doesn't guarantee success. Matter of fact, it guarantees a curse. So you can stay hard-hearted. You can stay stiff. You can hold a grudge. You can hold on to your anger and your emotions and your feelings. And nobody can tell you that you were wrong or responsible. All you can say is, you know what? It wasn't my fault. All you want. He said, but that all you're getting in the end is a curse. This is why men's way of doing things don't work or fail. Same thing with women. Because you had wholesome, healthy counsels from women around you that were married. That knew what it took to be married. 1 Peter chapter 3, right? Hold that. Let me get it real quick. Give me 1 Peter chapter 3. Start at verse 1.
1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
The Bible says wives supposed to be what?
In subjection to your own husband.
No, subjection to your own mind.
Your own husband.
To your own strength.
To your own husband.
To your own ability.
To your own husband.
To your own wisdom.
To your own husband.
To your own emotion.
Be in subjection to your own husband.
No, the way you look at things.
To your own husband.
How you perceive and conceive ideas. Your imagination.
Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
How you contrive innovations and create imaginations.
To your own husband.
So he said it's simple. There's a responsibility for both parties. For a man's supposed to be collecting, and a woman's supposed to be collecting these salutary counsels and have them ready to go in the event of an emergency, in the event of a disaster. I'm supposed to be looking at how do I dissolve escalated issues that can cause a fallout. Read.
That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word.
Because my heart is hard. So I don't want to hear the word. I don't want to hear what the Bible has to say. Well, if I stop listening to what the Bible has to say about marriage, then I'm embracing the world's perspective of marriage, which is a failure. Which I'm really setting myself up for danger. If I don't embrace what the Bible has to tell me about marriage and what it takes to be married, who created marriage? The Most High. Who put the institutions of marriage together?
The Most High.
The Most High did. If anybody understands marriage, it is the Most High. And he also created the intention of what the marriage was supposed to look like. It was supposed to be full of extreme happiness. Read.
That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wife.
Now, if I harden my heart and I stop listening to healthy, wholesome counsels that come from the Bible, I'm going to start embracing outside counsels. People that are divorced, people that are non-spiritual minded, people that don't know 5 verses off the top of their dome.
Toxic people.
People that are toxic and single. Or I'm gonna be picking up advice from people whose own relationship is broken. Because that's always a good one. Their relationship is holding on by a thread, but I'm gonna get advice from them. That should be a shame. That's what Paul said in 1 Corinthians, right? Read that real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Verse 7.
1 Corinthians 6 and verse 7.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. But brother go to law with brother.
He said, you got an issue with one another. Go ahead.
And that before the unbelievers.
And you go before the who?
The unbelievers.
You bring your issues to who?
The unbelievers.
Because you close your ears to people that can give you wholesome, healthy advice. Because you stop listening. Because you harden your heart. So you take your counsel and you get your answers from who?
Unbelievers.
And you get your answers from unbelievers. What is that? What does Paul call that when people go outside, not to the saints, but they go to outside people that don't even believe the Bible, read the Bible, understand the Bible to get advice? Verse 5 says what?
Verse 5. I speak to your shame.
He says that's what?
Shameful.
He said I speak to your what?
Your shame.
That's a damn shame. You're going to go to unbelievers. You'd rather get advice from people that don't have no concept of what the Most High has intended to be for marriage, but you'll pick up advice from them. Because you don't want to trust. He said, I speak to your shame. Read.
Is it so that there is not a wise man among you?
Nobody been married in the truth. Nobody got scriptures and tell you how to get your marriage on track. Nobody around you got wholesome, healthy counsels. Nobody's been married and understand what it takes to have temperance and love and patience and meekness and all these different virtues. Nobody's had to exercise these virtues. Read on.
No, not one.
Not one person you could talk to. There's not one sister you could talk to. Not one. That's a damn shame. There's not one brother you can go to get some healthy, wholesome advice. You gotta trust yourself. That's a damn shame. You can't talk to nobody about marriage. Okay. He said not one. Let that go back to where it was at.
1 Peter chapter 3 verse 2 now. While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
You're supposed to be influencing them, not them influencing you. You're supposed to have, as a wife, I'm supposed to be the influence over the people in the world. They're supposed to look up to me as the example, the epitome of what it means to be married in righteousness. Not the other way around. Read on.
Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel.
It said that a virtuous woman is not one that looks the part. She looked like an Israelite woman. She got the headscarf, the skirt, the fringes. She looks modest. She looks like she bestows chastity. That's not the virtuous woman that he's talking about. That's not the example and the epitome of a married woman. Read on. You don't got to look the part to be married. Read on.
Verse 4. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible.
It said that which is not what?
Not corruptible.
Which is what? Read on.
Even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
And what should she be adorning herself with?
A meek and quiet spirit.
What are the virtues that she's supposed to be adopting from the counsels of the people around her?
A meek and quiet spirit.
She should be getting the counsels that show her how to be what?
A meek and quiet spirit.
How to be meek and quiet. Read on. Is that acceptable in the eyes of the Most High? Is that an acceptable spirit for a woman, a married woman, to adopt? But no, she got to get her point across. She got something to say. I got something to let you know. I got to show you my distaste for you. I got to express how much of animosity I have towards you. I got to let it be known. Is that what the Most High is saying is acceptable to him? He said she's supposed to be decorating herself with what?
A meek and quiet spirit.
Read on.
Which is in the sight of the Most High.
Which is in the sight of the Most High what?
Of great price.
Man, that woman has value. That's a real one. That's a virtuous woman. That's a woman that knows what it takes to be married. That woman's going to be married for a long time. That woman shall receive the blessedness of what a marriage is supposed to get. Like we read in the Josephus. That woman will experience felicity. That little piece of heaven. That woman will experience that extreme happiness. Because she knows what posture and what state of mind to be in of what it takes to be married. She has to, it says in the sight of the Most High is what?
Of great price.
That's what's valuable. Your opinion isn't valuable. Your way of looking at things isn't valuable. How you conduct yourself within a marriage is what the Most High considers valuable. Who you get your counsels from is what the Most High considers valuable. Where are you getting your healthy, wholesome counsels? Who are you listening to? Or are you being won over by the conversation of the wives that are unbelievers? Read on.
Verse 5. For after this manner in the old time...
It says these modern day women should be patterning themselves, tracing, adopting, imitating, emulating what?
For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in the Most High.
They did what?
Trusted in the Most High.
They did what?
Trusted in the Most High.
Now we know what you get when you don't trust the Most High. When you trust yourself, you get what?
A curse.
You get cursed. Now go to Proverbs chapter 16, verse 20. He said, but these women do what? They trusted in the Most High. Proverbs 16 and 20 says what? Somebody get that.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 20. It says, he that handleth a matter wisely.
It said, he that handleth a matter wisely. Go ahead.
Shall find good.
Shall what?
Find good.
Man, you ain't got nothing but good coming. Because you know how to handle the matters. You know how to handle situations. You know how to handle issues. You know how to handle problems. You know how to handle, errors, mistakes, contention, debates, arguments, miscommunication, misunderstandings. You know how to handle these things. You know how to dissolve and blow out the spark of what could create a damn big old forest fire. You know how to put it out before it ever becomes one. Because you know how to maintain a meek and quiet spirit. Read it again.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 20. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good.
Go ahead.
And whoso trusteth in the Most High.
And whoso what?
Whoso trusteth in the Most High.
Who used to trust in the Most High?
Says women, the women of the old time.
Did what?
Who trusted in the Most High.
It says women of the old time knew how to do what?
Trust in the Most High.
They knew how to trust in the Most High, not their damn selves. Not outside influences. They knew how to trust in the Most High. And that's why they experienced so much good. They knew how to trust in the Most High. And say, he that trusts in the Most High, go ahead.
Happy is he.
What?
Happy is he.
So now your marriage is what?
Happy.
Yeah, you got a happy marriage when you know how to do what?
Trust in the Most High.
You don't have a happy marriage when you don't know how to do what?
Trust in the Most High.
Because you trust in you. It's not hard to understand. This is not difficult to conceive. This is ABCs 1, 2, 3. This is elementary. This is easy to understand. You could either adopt the pattern that existed in the women of old time that put their trust in the Most High, and therefore they receive good and they receive happiness. Or you can keep doing things your way and keep receiving curses and damnation. Yes, sir.
On that exact point what you're talking about, can I get one verse?
Come.
It's in the Josephus. I'll read it. Josephus is the same book we were in. Josephus, book 4, chapter 8, paragraph 5. It says, it's towards the latter end. It says, "If you will do what is pleasing to the Most High, you will have a secure state of happiness."
There it is. You do what's pleasing to the Most High, you guaranteed a secure state of what?
Happiness.
Happiness, which is trust in the Most High, not yourself. This is what makes relationships work or make them fail. Who do you put your trust in? Where do you get your counsel from? Who do you listen to? Do you receive wholesome, healthy words? And do you have them ready on deck in preparation for a fallout? Or you studying in advance prior to the demise? Yes, sir.
Philippians 4 and 7.
Read that.
Philippians chapter 4 verse 7. "And the peace of the Most High, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds to the Most High." So it's just something that, we have our own understanding. We think that our own understanding, our own ways will make peace. But the peace of the Most High will surpass all our understanding,
right,
all our knowledge, all our skills,
opinions, imaginations,
right,
thoughts, plans, devices. All these things that we create, they don't surpass the understanding that the Most High has to offer. But that's only given, and neither is the outcome the same either. We can create something, doesn't mean we're going to receive happiness in it. We can imagine that we can create a plan, doesn't guarantee success, doesn't guarantee prosperity, it doesn't guarantee joy. You can make a plan all you want. That doesn't mean the Most High, your outcome is going to be blessed. What you got?
Proverbs 19 and 21 on your point where you're at right now.
Read that.
So Proverbs 19 and 21. "There are many devices in the man's heart.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand."
That's the counsel of the Most High shall stand. That's the thing that's going to last. You can create what you want to create. That don't mean it's going to work out in the end.
Come. It's on the same point. Job 5 and 12. I'll read it. Job 5 and 12.
Nah, I ain't gonna do it.
It says,
You said Job 5 and 12?
5 and 12.
Job chapter 5, verse 12. Whatever you read.
Huh?
It says, "He disappointed the devices of the crafty."
He disappoints the plans, devices, strategies, ideas, initiatives of the crafty. Crafty means people think they're smart.
Mm-hmm.
Crafty means you think you know something. You think you know better. You think you step ahead. You think you can outsmart the Father. You think your way works. The Most High disappoints people that think that their way works.
Why? How does the Most High look at that kind of person? You know what? Give it a definition of juggler. In 1828, juggler.
Juggler. A cheat.
A what?
A cheat.
The Most High say, he said a juggler is a what?
A cheat.
Yeah, you cheating, man. You think you're going to cheat your way to success? You can't cheat your way to the top. The Most High's not going to bless it. The Most High don't bless no cheats, man. He don't bless no jugglers.
Juggler?
Yeah. He said a cheat, what else?
A deceiver.
A what?
A deceiver.
Yeah, somebody that think they smart. The crafty always think they smart. You think you think the Most High gonna bless things to your liking and you're out of order? And you think your way is really gonna work? Think again. What else?
An imposter.
A what?
An imposter.
A fake. What else?
To practice artifice. A deception.
A deception. To practice artifice, man. I'm crafty, man. I create and engineer my answers. I create and I engineer my decisions. Most I don't bless that, man. They say you got to enter in at the straight gate. You can't come through the back door. You can't backdoor your way to success. The Most I don't bless that. You can't cheat your way to success. The Most I don't bless that. I like what you're saying, dog. I just want to add that to what you're saying.
That's beautiful. I will get artifice real quick. Artifice. Stratagem. an artful or ingenious device, in a good or bad sense. Like you just said, you think you really know. Whoever's gassing you up or putting a battery in your back and charging you up, whatever your mama told you, your cousin, or that person on Facebook, you should listen to you. Some fake person with a smile on, with white teeth, telling you you should listen to you. You should never, girl. I'm never gonna let that girl. All these reactions people be watching, that power up, because that algorithm is based off of what you watch. Those people know what you like and what you're into.
Everybody listen to Oprah. but people don't realize.
That's right.
People don't realize that.
They give it all to you.
I'm gonna say it on the TV anyway. See, people listen to Oprah, but people don't realize that Oprah stabbed a man. Stabbed Stedman. Stedman was in bed with another man.
And
See,
she
people.
caught him,
Yeah, she caught him.
stabbed him.
Stabbed him.
He was stabbing somebody else.
Hey, Pelosi going.
God, dog.
Hey, Pelosi fight. Pelosi husband. It's hard to get beat up with a hammer by somebody that's barefooted in their underwear that evaded all alarm systems, all cameras.
Oh, yeah, I didn't look into that.
Oh,
That's
what do you say?
kind of funny.
Pelosi's husband?
Pelosi was out of town. It's hard to get hit by a hammer by an intruder that was barefoot and in underwear that evaded all alarm systems, all security alarms, all cameras, all physical alarms,
Wow.
and be in your house
Brutally beat up too.
and brutally beat up.
It's a passion to sell that.
Yeah, now we know what happened to Versace.
True.
Right.
What happened to Versace?
In Miami.
In Miami.
Got shot.
By who?
I think it was his lover or something.
That's exactly who it was.
Yeah,
Private
right in front of
Yeah.
his house at the
At the
stair
door.
steps.
At the
Or
door.
Something like that, yeah.
Met him at the door. He brought-
This is the Versace.
This is the Versace. Met, that relationship was at the door. Got it. See, people. Anyway. Listen, man. Let me stop, man. Let me stop, man. Oh, like I said, people listen to people like this. People listen to people they listen to people about marriage and relationships, while these people that they're following are tormented in their relationships. Right. Oprah ain't had a marriage; she had a boyfriend. But thousands of people listen to Oprah.
Right. Yeah, it was a business.
And her relationships are horrible, disastrous.
Right. Not a relationship.
Anyway, go ahead, Dawg. My bad.
And so knowing this, that artifice is stratagems. The second definition says an art, trade, or skill acquired by science or practice. So we listen to people that think that she has more experience.
Yeah.
She knows.
She knows.
So I trust this person's opinion.
Yeah.
Over the Most High's opinion.
Right.
Now go back into Job 5:12 real quick.
Job chapter 5 verse 12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
Your hands are not going to perform your enterprise, and the enterprise in the Bible says intention. So you're not going to be able to fulfill your intentions. Therefore, you will be miserable. And misery loves company. Read on.
Verse 13. He taketh the wise in their own
He
craftiness.
taketh the wise in your what?
Own craftiness.
What the Bible say about in that similar concept? What does the Bible say?
He taketh the wise.
There's another word that echoes. It's shadow behind the scripture right here, right? It says what? He taketh the the wise in their own what?
In their own craftiness.
Or you shall be corrected by your what?
Your own wickedness.
Own wickedness.
Thy own wickedness shall correct.
Thy own wickedness shall correct you. It don't matter if you're wise in your wickedness or you're not wise in your wickedness.
That's hardcore. He'll choke you with your own sin.
With your own decisions.
With your own deception.
With your own deception. Read on. Read on, Vince, 1 point.
And the counsel of the froward.
The counsel of the froward. Froward means hard to deal with. Difficult to deal with. Antisocial. Anti-harmonious. Anti-unity. Anti-biblical. Anti-Christ-like. When you take counsels from Antichrist, because if they're not matching the Bible, then they're not like Christ. which means that my thought pattern is anti-Christ. People make it real movie. You got a guy with the horns on his head with a pitchfork, and he got red eyes, and he's drinking blood. I'm the no. The Antichrist is the person that's giving you advice that's not part of the Bible. Just like Eve did. He was in the garden talking to the serpent. Read on.
It says, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong.
And the counsel of the froward is carried what?
Headlong.
It's gonna fail, bro.
It's gonna fail head first. Headlong means head first. Meaning it's gonna fall. You're gonna fall flat on your head. It's gonna fail head first. That's what headlong means, head first. So finish that in 1 Peter.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 5 from the top. For after this manner in the old time.
In the old time, go ahead.
The holy women also who trusted in the Most High.
It says the holy women of old time who did what?
Who trusted in the Most High.
And we know that those that trust in the Most High will experience good and they will experience happiness. Read on.
Adorn themselves.
And they decorated themselves. They occupied themselves with what?
Being in subjection.
Being what?
Being in subjection.
To who?
Unto their own husbands.
To everybody else.
Unto their own husbands.
To themselves.
Unto their own husbands.
How can a wife show the Most High that she cares about the Most High and His principles and His doctrine?
That they adorn themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
They share their husband's opinions. Read on.
Verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
He said, even as what?
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
See, it's supposed to the way it's supposed to be. Read this right here for me real quick.
There are two kinds of soul.
I got to read this from Philo. He said there's two kinds of soul. Go ahead.
Much as there are two sexes.
He said they're just like it's two sexes. Go ahead.
Among human relations.
We know man and woman is the two sexes. Go ahead.
The one of masculine soul.
He said there's one that's supposed to be masculine. Go
belonging
ahead.
To men.
Belonging to what?
To men.
Go ahead.
The other female soul.
Go ahead.
As found in women.
Go ahead. So it's supposed to be a masculine soul and a feminine soul. Go ahead.
The masculine soul is that which devotes itself.
Now, it says the masculine soul has a responsibility, which is the male, the man. What is the man's responsibility?
The masculine soul is that which devotes itself.
It says the masculine soul is supposed to be devoted to who?
Itself to the Most High.
To
alone.
Who?
To the Most High.
And where?
Alone.
Who? By himself. Every man has a job to devote and dedicate himself to the Most High and the Most High only. And every woman is supposed to be devoted to who?
Their husband.
Their husband. See, when a man is in order, and then the woman is in order, then they can create this harmony that the Most High was talking about, this felicity and this happiness, because everybody's in order. See, what happens with marriages is, marriages fail because men get out of order and so do women. It said a good wife is given unto him that what? Feared the Lord. But a wicked woman is given to who?
A wicked
man. See, the Most High just give a man his reflection. But a man himself should be solely dedicated to who?
The Most High alone.
Go ahead.
As the Father and Creator of the universe and the cause of all things that exist.
Stop right there. He says the Father, the Creator of the universe, and the cause of all things that exist. My focus should be the Most High. A woman's just like that. It's singular. My mind is on the Most High in Christ. Christ is our head. We know that in 1 Corinthians 11. Head of every man is Christ. The head of Christ is the Most High. Everybody's locked in order. A woman's mind should be singular. You know what that her mind should be on? What do I got to do to please my husband? What do I need to do to make sure I'm in order with him? Singular. I got to please my head. A man, I got to please my head. Read that again.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
Calling him what?
Lord.
What does Sarah call her husband?
Lord.
It's a singular mindset. He's my focus. The Most High put this man in my life for me to help this man, assist this man, be an aid to this man, be of assistance to this man, follow this man, be obedient to this man, yield to this man, be in subjection to this man. But the world tells you that's not a marriage. You're getting played. The world will tell you you're being controlled. The world will tell you you're in a cult. The world will tell you that's out of order. The world will tell you this is a new era. This is a new day and age. That's the Old Testament. We in the New Testament. What we reading this and where?
In the New Testament.
We reading this in the New Testament. But this is what people will tell you. This is what the world will tell you. Anything outside this mindset, the Most High counts and denotes as unacceptable. And it's going to fail, and it will be cursed with no blessedness. Read on.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well.
He said, and you also be in line and be looked at as the daughters of Sarah. The Most High will look at you the same way in this day and age. In 2022, the Most High will still constitute you as a daughter of Sarah if you do what?
As long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement.
And not be afraid that you're out of order, because obviously when we look at the freedoms of Peter during the time of Peter, we're talking about the Greco-Roman Empire.
Yeah.
What was popular during this time?
I'm going crazy, bro.
LGBT. Homosexuality.
Hold on.
Not just that.
Yeah, let me go. Let's read what was going on. Let's read what was going on at this time. Hold on 1 second, bro. Let me get this real quick. What was going on at this time?
Yep.
Read this right here.
All right. Since on what other account can we imagine that in every quarter of the habitable globe, the theaters.
What?
The theaters.
What? Greco-Roman Empire was full of what?
Theaters.
There was full of theaters. The theaters. Go ahead.
Are every day filled with incalculable myriads of spectators.
It says the theaters are filled with incalculable myriads of spectators, meaning everybody's looking for excitement. Everybody's looking for stimulation in this day and age. And this was talking about during the time of the Greeks and Romans. Go ahead.
For they being wholly, Holly, under the dominion of sound and sights.
It says they was attracted to what?
The dominion of sounds
they
and
was
sights.
Under the spell of sounds and what else?
And sights.
And what sounds good and what looks good. This is during the Greco-Roman Empire. Go ahead.
And allowing their ears and their eyes to be carried away without any restraint.
Meaning, I'm free. This 2022, we're in a new era. I'm a modern woman.
Wow. No
I don't gotta. That's old. That's old-fashioned stuff.
Free thinker.
Yeah, women are now at liberty to be the leaders. Yeah, free thinking. What else?
Go in pursuit of harp players.
I go in pursuit of what?
Harp players.
What else?
And singers to the harp.
It says, and singers to the harp. Go ahead.
And every description of effeminate.
Of what?
Effeminate.
Men were looking for what?
Effeminate and unmanly music.
Men listen to what?
Effeminate and unmanly music.
Men was in the pretty boy music.
Yep.
They was in the Trey Songz.
Yep.
They was in the Drake.
I'm too sexy for my that.
Yeah.
And what's his name did that song?
That was Future
remix. Yeah, Future did a remix.
Future, yeah.
I'm too sexy.
Future and Drake.
My trap or something.
Yeah.
Stupid. Huh?
It said they say they listen to what?
It says effeminate.
Lil Nas X.
Effeminate.
And what else?
And unmanly says. That song. Those two guys rapping. You know what I'm talking about,
Ray Strummer?
Ray Strummer? Yeah.
Swang?
Yeah. Her young nigga like to swang. He was, I heard like the swang, like, listen, bro.
And not to mention them homosexual rappers and all that crap going on now.
He said to effeminate and what?
And unmanly music.
Skinny jeans.
Exactly. It's effeminate and unmanly.
Jeffrey.
Effeminate and unmanly music.
Frank Ocean.
Oh man, bro. That big and strong. How big and strong? Forest.
that was
That song called Forest.
Yeah.
Effeminate and unmanly music.
What's playing right now, man? What's the hot new music, man?
Effeminate and unmanly music.
Same thing that was going on then is going on now. They was playing effeminate and unmanly music back then, and people was following that. That was part of the culture.
There are a bunch of actors.
Bunch of actors in the theater. That was the culture.
Bunch
Go
of
ahead.
jugglers.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
And moreover, eagerly receiving dancers.
They love what?
Eagerly receiving dancers.
Chris Brown.
What else? Chris Brown. Anybody that can dance.
And every other kind of actors.
And they love what?
Actors.
Go ahead.
Because they place themselves and move in all kinds of effeminate positions.
They move in what?
They place themselves and moves and all. What's that dude about America? This is America. That he shot the guy. Yeah, he's like this.
This is America. Yeah.
Yeah, it says. It says they place themselves and move in all kinds of effeminate positions and motions.
Wow.
They are continually, by their applause, exciting the factions of the theater, never thinking either of the propriety of their own conduct or of the general body of the citizens.
They're not thinking about anybody except who? Themselves. He said this will be the culture. This is
wow.
He said that women will stray away from righteousness because they'll get overwhelmed and consumed by the culture. Men will stray away from righteousness because they'll get overthrown and consumed by what? Themselves wrapped into the what?
Culture.
Wrapped into the culture. They follow the culture, and the culture dictates their rationale. The culture dictates their reason. They don't think about anything outside of what is this teaching the young generation? What is this? You know what? If it continues to where men are dressing like women, looking like women, women are looking like men, where's the children going to go? How are the children going to be created?
Right behind them.
Where's the procreation? Where's the intention of how the Most High designed it to be? Where He said, "Be fruitful and multiply." But the way the culture's going, just like the time of the Greeks and the Romans, this is what they was into: effeminate, R&B, high tones, alto, singing in the alto, falsettos. I mean, that high pitched sound. Ooh, ooh, baby.
Yeah.
All that,
in a falsetto.
Yeah, in a falsetto. All that high pitched sound. We got a class on that coming later on.
That's been like a year.
Yeah, I know. I added on to it because my water threw something at me, so I'm gonna add on to it. He threw something at me, but this is what our people get wrapped up in. I don't have to do that. They get wrapped in a Lizzo.
Yeah.
I get to be free, and I control how I project myself as a woman. I don't have to be controlled by any standards or restrictions whatsoever and denote myself as a woman. I could wear what I want, dress how I want, behave how I want, dance how I want, sing how I want, and I could be free. But people think that they'll still be accepted by the Most High and that their circumstance will make them happy, and it doesn't. August Alsina.
Oh yeah.
Read. I mean, finish this. Oh, that's it right there. Finish that in
They were in verse 7.
Verse
He
7.
got knocked out recently. Somebody just beat him up recently.
I didn't know that.
1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
It says, likewise, ye husbands, you got a responsibility too.
Yeah.
Husbands have a responsibility. Wives have a responsibility to be in order, not get caught off guard by the culture of what they see on TV and music and fashion and Desperate Housewives and all these different shows. These are actors. Their situations ain't happy. You see the show, but you don't see their real life. You don't see what happens when the camera turns off. You don't see what happens when they go home. You don't look beyond the music, beyond the acting, beyond the TV show. These people are tormented. They sick. Go ahead.
Likewise, ye husbands.
But husbands also got a responsibility. Wives have a responsibility. Husbands have a responsibility. Go ahead.
Dwell with them according to knowledge.
Go ahead.
Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
It said giving honor to the wife as what?
As unto the weaker vessel.
That means you got to be more patient. That means her understanding is not going to be as quick as yours. Because she's made for a different course of life. Matter of fact, I'm going to read that in a second. Read on.
Says, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
Go ahead. Now from there, I'm going to look for this real quick. Go to Ephesians 5, and we're going to end it with this. Ephesians chapter 5, start at verse 21 real quick. I'm going to look for this while you read that.
Chapter 5. 21.
Yeah, read that. Yeah. That way, I break that down real quick. I'm gonna try to find this one quote real quick.
What we going to?
Ephesians 5 and 21. Start there.
Come.
Ephesians 5:21.
Come. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another.
So we gotta look at this word. We're submitting, right? Sub means to be under. So I'm not about being above somebody or my needs are above the other. I'm subjecting myself. I'm taking low, which is an aspect of humility. So I'm subjecting myself. I'm humbling myself. I have the ability to humble myself for my brother, for my friend, and literally for my wife, for my children, if it's necessary, right?
Come.
When I say humble myself for my wife, I mean that I'm going to stop and focus on what are the spiritual needs versus my wants. We have personal wants and personal desires. But are my personal wants and personal desires, does that supersede the spiritual needs of my household? My desire for liberty and freedom, does that affect my household? My desire for personal feel-goods, should I be tending to my personal feel-goods, or should I be tending to the health of my significant other? The spiritual sanity and health of my rib, of my house, of whoever I'm with, as far as brother, if I'm in the brotherhood, I'm doing a brother. Does his sanity come before my sanity and before my wants? Mm-hmm. So I'm submitting or subjecting myself one to what?
Another. One to another.
I mean, it's not just somebody serving me. I'm serving them too. Well, I understand this. Listen, when you get a rib, it's great to say that she's a servant, and I'm down with that 100% because I'm all about that. But at the same time, bro, you have a job. You inherit a rib. She's a possession. Possessions require maintenance. True or false?
Come.
Cars require maintenance. House require maintenance. Grass require maintenance. Right?
Come.
Even you get a pet. You gotta feed the pet, right? Kids be in the sun and chain all day, right? You gotta stimulate to take it to a walk, shampoo it. Everything requires maintenance in this world. So when I'm subjecting or submitting myself one to another, meaning I'm serving the spiritual needs. And they're supposed to do what? It's a symbiotic relationship, meaning it's two coming together and they both feed off each other. Mm-hmm. It can't be one way. There's too many one-way Israelites. Well, it's about me. Or it's just, I'm just going to give you and serve you and give you and nothing for me. No, it's both ways. It's an exchange. It's commerce. None of this is a one-way situation. We'd be like, oh man, all I got to do is serve first. Listen, what are you getting out the deal? For a man, all I got to always have her head right. Okay, well, when her head's right, what are you getting out the deal? It's a partnership. In a partnership, there's duties, there's roles. Shamshawan went into what? The female spirit and the male spirit. Both require something. Both have needs. So if that's the case, then we both have a responsibility to who? Each other. Which means I have to lower myself for the needs of this person. And they have to lower themselves for my needs. It can't be one way. Read.
Come. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 21.
Uh-huh.
Submitting yourselves one to another.
Because my conscience is on your need. Read.
in the fear of the Most High.
That means I'm considerate.
Con.
Go ahead.
Con.
In the what?
It says, in the fear of the Most High.
Not in the fear of my pride and ego. Not in the fear of what my mama said. Not in the fear of my block, my neighborhood, how people look at me. I'm supposed to have righteous considerations based off my consciousness of the scriptures. Read.
Come. Wives, submit yourselves.
And therefore, wives do what?
Submit yourselves.
It shouldn't have to be said, but this has to be said. You should subject yourself and submit yourself to what?
Unto your own husband.
Unto your own. Key word is own. You got your own husband to take care of, man. You have your own husband. Be thankful the Most High gave you a husband that wants to serve Christ. It might not be that's not always the case. Read.
As unto the Lord.
So what is that really saying? I'm supposed to sit here and have spiritual righteous consideration and serve the husband as if he is Christ. Meaning what? That this is wholesome. These are virtuous. It's based off of virtuous principle. I'm serving in principle.
Healthy.
Righteous principle. I'm doing you good. The focus is to do good. Spiritually. It should be a spiritual marriage.
I want the best for you.
Yeah, I want your felicity. I want you to live in an ordered state. I want you to feel appreciated. I want you to have joy. And my goal is that your sentiments are satiated. Meaning what? That I'm looking for, make sure that your sentiments, that are you validated by me? Am I sitting here making sure you feel good about your service to Christ? Am I making sure you have the house is straight? So you got to think about this all day. You can focus on the men, focus on the book, focus on what's important, what matters. Focus on responsibilities in the camp. So we can move forward as a body. Read on.
Come. For the husband is the head of the wife.
And the husband must be responsible. The head has to be. You can't have an irresponsible head, bro.
That's hard, bro.
Trying to drive a car, head's looking backwards and to the side. Well, you better look forward, buddy. You're driving a car. We can't crash this family. We can't crash this household. The head must be awake and conscious. The head has eyes, ears, and a brain. The brain is for meditation and thinking. The ears are for what? Consideration, hearing, inputting information. Right? The eyes are for vision. I gotta have vision. I gotta be able to see what's ahead. The mouth is for what? Clear communication. Spiritual communication. I'm just talking ish all day. And talking down and ripping spirits and being sarcastic.
Yeah, tearing people down.
That's because the brothers, I'm the head, but you're sarcastic.
Yeah. Right.
You're always sarcastic. And that you think that your words don't affect this person's conscience. She's still tripping. Well, do you understand that spirit that you put out there, this is an effect from 3 days ago? Oh, I didn't consider that. I thought it was just Thursday. Well, you got over it, but she didn't get over it. Maybe you could have used wiser words. Maybe you could have used better listening skills. Maybe you could have meditated and got counsel and considered and digested the counsel in your mind. Maybe you could have had vision and had foresight, like the Bible says, providence. Are you looking for future problems? Because you're ahead. Read.
For the husband is the head of the wife.
Yeah, but say, I'm the boss.
Yeah, well, she tripping.
She tripping. I'm the boss. She tripping. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the damn boss over here. I'm the man. Shit. Well, if you're the man, then be the man in Christ. A man shall be commended according to his what?
Wisdom.
Then if you're the man, be the man in wisdom. Which is the what? Be the man in the scriptures, bro. Go home and use the scriptures. Like someone said, prepare those counsels ahead of time. Give those words that build up the spirit. Edify, educate. You use your wisdom. Use your manhood. Read.
Come. Even as Yahushua is the head of the church.
So the head should be a similitude. A similarity of Christ. A reflection of Christ. You can't be saying, I'm the head and you're not like Christ, bro. Yeah. Sorry, bro. It's hard to follow, bro.
You know what that means? That means I'm a hypocrite. Because that means I demand that you be in order, but I don't have to be in order.
Yeah, that's real fake. That's fraud, bro.
That means I get to be out of order with the men above me and the people above me and my elders.
Yeah.
But you got to listen to me. And you got to follow me. You got to do what I tell you to do. It's hypocritical.
This woman is wicked, huh? She's just wicked, huh? She's wicked. I get why she's wicked, bro. I see the example you rocking. I gotta say you rocking every day.
A wicked woman is given to her.
True, but we're saying is they're supposed to pattern our principles, our ethics, our codes, our dedication. So if she's not doing that, am I instilling that? Am I, like Shashwan said, am I an instiller of those virtues? Am I being the example? Or am I just talking all day, demanding results without demonstration?
Changes.
That's what we do as Israelites, bro. And then the house don't work right. It don't function right.
And I wonder why. I wonder why it's failing.
And when she starts listening to offended music, starts dressing different, starts seeing bloodshot, and starts seeing
Put a ring on
a
it.
bunch of lip gloss on. Yeah. Then the skirt starts getting those little shorter. It starts smelling a little different. You gonna wake up then? I don't know what happened, huh? But what happened is what you happened, right? You happened. Your lack of preparation over time happened. Your lack of listening to counsel over time happened. Your lack of care and concern happened.
Your inability to stack counsels happened.
There you go.
Take notes.
Yeah.
Get advice. Holy advice. Wholesome advice.
Wholesome. I was trying. Man, they always.
I try to get out of here, man. I'm trying.
Brothers always just talking. I'm tired of definition. I'm gonna go home. Okay.
Racing to get home.
You're racing to get home, not knowing 6 months later. That's why you're racing to get out your home. It happens like that.
Mm-hmm.
These things happen.
Oh, I'm going home to a volcano.
Oh, you're going home to a volcano. You're going home to I don't know any volcano name. You're going home to Hawaii. The worst volcano in Hawaii. I'm not going home. How about that? You know why? Because home was unattended to. I didn't attend to it. I'm walking around the problems. Hi, how are you doing? Okay. I'm not confronting any issues. There's no issues here. Everything's fine. Everything's good. Hey, how's your household? Oh, it's good. It's good.
We okay right now.
Come.
That means like we're in the center of the storm. It's calm right now. Like in 10 more minutes, the storm is coming right back.
Exactly. Is everything cool out? And everybody's it's fine. Every council.
Yeah. We good right now.
Don't talk to me about that. What's up with you? How are you doing? I'm the elder, right? But somebody counsel me. What about you? I'm counseling you. Are you okay? Everything's good. It's good. It's fine. Until 3 months later.
Yeah.
We play games with God, so the Most High allows things to happen to us in our personal life. You know why? Because I didn't want to subject myself to another. If I can't subject myself to a counselor, or I can't subject myself to Christ, how can I subject myself to the person in my home? It's not going to happen.
Nope.
It's inconsistent behavior.
Finish that? Perfect point, man. Perfect.
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Yahushua is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject...
Can I ask this question? Mm-hmm. So if Christ is the savior of the body, is he literally come out the sky saving us, or is this his way of doing things is what saves the body?
Right. Walking in his footsteps. Walking in his spirit. Walking in the spirit of Christ. He said, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. When we say walk in the spirit and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, whose spirit should we be walking in?
The spirit of Christ.
Spirit of Christ. Walking in his spirit so we don't err. We don't make mistakes. He's already laid down the foundation. We don't have to create our own lane. You know, white folks say, travel on the path that's less traveled, or the road less traveled. Man, that's what the world say. Yeah, be an innovator,
Create your own path.
Create your own path. Man, come on, bro. Christ already laid down a path that's successful, that's pleasing to the Most High. Read on.
Come. It says, therefore, as the church is subject unto Yahushua,
read on.
So let the wives be to their own husbands.
Everybody has a responsibility in order for the relationship to work and to stay afloat and survive. Everybody has a role to play. Not one of the roles can be, not done or done away with and expect that this thing should work. Can two walk together except they be what?
Agreed.
Be agreed. But it's not going to work. Both parties must play the role that the Most High has designed, that He considers as acceptable, that He finds pleasing. I can't create my own design of a marriage. It doesn't work that way. What we build fails. It tanks. It sinks. It's a disaster. It's like that hot air balloon, that German hot air balloon.
Oh yeah, what was that called? It was called not the balloon bird. What was it called? Something bird.
Yeah, the damn balloon, the hot air balloon they created, blew up out the damn air.
The Zeppelin?
The Zeppelin, yeah, the Zeppelin.
Okay.
They came crashing down in fire.
No, it wasn't called.
I think it was the Zeppelin.
Yeah, those are Zeppelins.
They were the Zeppelin. The hot air, German hot air balloon.
Like a blimp?
Yeah, they blew up, caught on fire, exploded because you made a whole balloon out of gas. You made a balloon out of gas, and you expected that for commercial travel, for the wealthy. That was created for the wealthy. Anyway, that's what I create, bro. Disasters. Read on. The Hindenburg. Yeah. The Hindenburg came down in flames. Killed everybody, burnt people alive while they was falling out the sky.
Yeah, jumping.
Go ahead.
Verse 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Yahushua,
Go ahead.
so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In some things.
In everything.
See, this is the hard part to swallow. That everything is difficult. Because how should I, or why should I, follow a man that I can see flaw in? Why should I submit myself to somebody where I can see and I can poke holes in everything that's wrong with him? I can tell you everything that's weak about this man, and you expect me to follow this man. That's what makes it very difficult. That's why the scripture says that you try as much as possible to be what? Blameless. You try to be blameless, bro. Because when you're pushing somebody to change and grow, they're going to be resistant. It's natural to be resistant. They're going to make excuses why they can't. That's normal. They're going to tell you what their limitations are. That's normal. They're going to tell you why they shouldn't. That's normal. But you've got to be a better persuader of righteousness. And the way that the Most High solidifies your ability to point somebody in the right direction is simply by saying, having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience once what? Once your obedience is fulfilled. Once you lock yourself down and you learn how to be in order, the Most High supports you when you try to pertain or persuade other people to get in order. He backs you up. He supports your endeavors. He supports your efforts. But if you're not in order, the Most High is not going to help the people that you're trying to get in order with you. It doesn't work that way. Read on. You're not qualified at that point to put somebody in order until you learn how to be in order. Read on.
Verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Yahushua also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Now what did Christ say on the cross? He said what? Forgive them, Father, what?
But they know not what they do.
What, you know what that's called? The benefit of the doubt. You know, because when a man talks to a woman, there's this expectation that everything was on purpose. She did it on purpose. She knew that was going to piss me off. We had this situation before. We had this argument before. We've been together too long. She should know better. That's done on both sides. He should know better already. She should know better already. By now, all this time, after all these years, you don't know better? We're still having the same argument? You did that on purpose. I already told you I don't like that. You try to get under my skin. Where's the benefit of the doubt? Why isn't there the ability to say, this person just don't understand yet? Why can't that be the constitution? The disposition of the mind. This person hasn't grown yet. They don't got it yet. They need more time. I need to keep teaching. This person doesn't understand. Why am I so upset that this person doesn't understand? Doesn't the scripture say, in meekness, teaching them that oppose themselves?
Yeah.
Where's my meekness at? Where's my virtues that are on display to make up for the fact that she doesn't got it. She don't have it yet. She's not fully informed, and she needs more time. Read on.
Come. That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
And that's what you use to keep the relationship pure. You keep studying, you keep teaching, you keep going over scriptures to maintain the purity of the relationship. Read on.
Come. That he might present it to himself a glorious church.
Go ahead.
Not having spot or wrinkle.
Finish it up. We gotta get out. We're getting out of here. Finish it up. Close it out.
Or any such thing, but that it should be holy.
That it should be what?
Holy.
A marriage should be what?
Holy.
Because Christ is what?
Holy.
The Most High is what?
Holy.
A man should be holy. A woman should be holy. The relationship should be holy. The children should be holy. What was that? Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4 verse 5? Read that. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4. And get verse read that verse 6.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 6. For children begotten of unlawful beds are witnesses of wickedness against their parents in their tribe.
I want the one that says an ungodly brood. Is that yeah, verse 3. Read that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 3. It says, but the multiplying of brood of the ungodly shall not thrive, nor take deep rooting.
The Most High don't want all these unholy children coming out of unholy wedding marriages, and we're supposed to be harmonious and unified in Christ. The Most High don't want all these unholy children coming out. The children should be holy too. The Most High don't want a bunch of bastard kids coming out of, or kids that came out of wedlock or adultery.
Yeah.
The Most High don't want this ungodly brood coming out. Everything that the Most High touches, it should be holy. The kids get defiled because the parents are defiled. Everybody's defiled. It's not what the Most High is trying to do. Let that go and go finish that right there in Ephesians.
Come. From top board.
Yeah, read where you at.
Come. It says, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
Read on. Finish it on down. Read on down.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
It said man should love his own wife as his own body. Read on.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
Just as much as you consider yourself, consider your wife the same way. Read on.
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh.
Read on.
But nourisheth and cherisheth.
Read on.
Even as the Lord, the church.
Go ahead.
For we are members of his body.
Because we're members of what?
His body.
So me and my wife are members of Christ. We're supposed to be members of the body of Christ. Read on.
Of his flesh.
And we're supposed to be members of the flesh of Christ. Just like the Most High took woman and he said, bone of my, this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And they twain shall become one flesh. Well, now that me and my flesh and my bone, which is one flesh, which is my wife, now we're supposed to be marrying Christ together. And now we're supposed to be becoming the flesh and bone of Christ. Read on.
And of his bones.
Go ahead.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Yahushua and the church.
He said, but I speak concerning the ultimate marriage is not between a man and a woman. The ultimate marriage is when a man and a woman and the children can all be unified and married to Christ. That's the ultimate marriage. Your marriage is supposed to be in preparation for the greater marriage. But if you can't even love the person that you live with that's supposed to be part of your flesh, how can you love Christ? How can you marry Christ and you're a bad wife? How could you marry Christ and you're a bad husband? Read on.
Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself.
And that's why you got to love your wife as you love yourself. Because if you can't do that, you can't love Christ. Read.
And the wife see that she reverence her husband.
And what does reverence mean? Deep respect. That a wife maintains deep respect. Because if a wife can maintain deep respect for her husband, she can maintain deep respect for Christ. Your marriage is supposed to be practiced for the bigger marriage, which is the matrimony of Christ. So you got to at least try to get this right. This is just practice for a greater marriage, for a greater matrimony. Any questions? With that, let's go ahead and end it. I'm going to say shalom.
Shalom.
And if we can have, let's go ahead and end it right there. We're not going to send the prayer up. We're just going to start it after 10. I want to kind of close it at 10. If we can have brothers wash their hands real quick. Shalom, everybody, for watching. If we have class again on Friday, all right?